So this right here, that is a ventilator right there. And it's just what it sounds like. It's what you would do for this patient with the BVM, with the back valve mask, it's being done with the machine. That's all it's doing. It's breathing for the patient. She attached to ventilator circuit that enters the trachea through the stoma. Patient may still lead an active life. Problems include mucus. We talked about the mucus buildup. It's not much else to talk about. What does it say? EMTs are increasingly called to assist patients who rely on advanced medical devices at home. This patient has a feeding line and a home ventilator connected to a tracheostomy. Okay. All right, so now cardiac devices. So you have what are called pacemakers and defibrillators, and they are usually found on the upper left side of the patient's chest. That is where they are normally found. Every now and then you will find them on the right side of the chest. And really the only reason that dictates where it goes is whether your patient is left or right-handed. The reason it's put on the left side is because most people are right-handed, and if you're right-handed, you're gonna be using your right arm a lot, stretching, reaching for stuff. And what happens is over time, the wires that go into your heart from the pacemaker can break from just bending and moving around. So they put it on the side that you use the least, being the left side usually. People that are left-handed, most likely that implant will go on the right side. Let's see, implanted into the heart, designed to prevent the heart rate from becoming too low. Yeah, so a pacemaker, what it does, it brings the heart rate up. A defibrillator stops the heart rate, if that makes sense. It stops an abnormal heart rate, so an arrhythmia. It stops the arrhythmia, and like it resets it and allows the normal heart rate to continue. That's what a defibrillator does. So just like the AEDs that you guys play with during CPR, that's essentially what's implanted in a patient, but really, really, really small. Implanted pacemaker delivers a series of low energy pulses as set intervals to stimulate heart rate. Yeah, so it is going to increase the heart rate. Automatic implanted cardiac defibrillator, implanted in the upper left chest or upper left abdominal quadrant. From my experience, because I actually used to work for a pacemaker company, I used to sell pacemakers, and the only time you'll see pacemakers in the abdomen in the stomach area is for your pediatrics. For your smaller kids, they will be put in the abdomen, and that has to do with surface area. Sometimes the pacemakers are just too big to put in a pediatric's chest, so they put it in the abdomen. Defibrillator detects. So it's just like the AED. It detects any arrhythmias and it's gonna shock them and kind of reset the heart and allowing the sinus node to take over again. The sinus node to take over again and resume a normal sinus rhythm. And that's what it's doing. If your patient heart goes into a dysrhythmia, it will recognize a dysrhythmia, shock the heart to reset it back to our normal sinus rhythm. Left ventricular assist device. So this right here, all it does is it takes the blood from the left ventricle and runs it through this pump and then pushes it back in through your aorta to feed your body. Patients with heart failure that haven't been able to get a transplant and actually have the money for this will have this. So these are patients with heart failure that haven't had an implant yet. They're still waiting for an implant. And this machine essentially takes over the left ventricle. This is the left ventricle for this patient right here. See, left ventricle assist device, patients waiting for a suitable donor. We talked about that. Moves blood from the left ventricle through inserted tubes to a pump implanted in the abdomen, blood pressurized and sent to aorta for transport to the body. So just troubleshooting on this device, on the left ventricular assist device. If there's battery failure, just plug it up. Pump failure, use hand or foot pump. So I've never played with this stuff. I never seen this device in person, but apparently that there is a manual pump, which could be either hand or foot. So just good to know in case you do come across one of these patients that have a malfunctioning device. Just know that there is a manual way to pump the blood to the patient. Let's see, feeding tubes. There's different kinds of feeding tubes: nasogastric, gastrostomy tube. And I actually found a video on